And action. Hello, welcome to the Reloading Podcast here on the Firearms Radio Network. Presented by Primary Arms. So, how's everybody doing? I'll be right back. You guys chat amongst yourselves. Okay. Jim, how was your Father's Day?
Just another day.
I
didn't do any shooting. I did busted no caps. I did no reloading. Just another day out working out in the yard. In fact, I was so bad about working in the yard this weekend. I forgot to pay my respects to my buddy Tom Wagner, who likes to post pledges on my Facebook page.
Oh.
Anyway.
You're slipping.
Yep. I was working. I was busy working, sweating my ass off. I lost a couple pounds, if you want to know that. But
well, I know what that's like because I got home Monday, and my yard had grass that was about 12 inches tall, and
that's 3 cuttings there.
Yeah, I'm working on it, and today was 105. So.
In Indiana? My God, Paul.
Yes.
You guys are doing something wrong up here. We only hit 101.
Anyhow, yeah, it's not good for my metabolism.
No, it's not. Truthfully, it's not. Make sure you stay hydrated. Hydrated.
Yeah.
That means wet in Eskimo.
Yeah. Scotch. Okay. Cheers, people.
How about it, Nick and Ray? What'd you guys do?
Go ahead.
We were on a week-long trip in Alaska.
I'm jealous.
It was, don't have really words I can say, it was incredible.
Yeah.
Beautiful. If it didn't get cold, I would live there.
Yeah. It was beautiful. It was kind of a combo trip. I had some work out in Washington and Oregon. I went out there for a week. Family flew in later that week. Then we took a cruise up to Alaska, kind of celebrate multiple things. Daughter graduating college, Alaska being my 50th state, so I've hit all 50 states now, and Nick's birthday, plus my wedding anniversary. So it was a kind of a multiple trip and had a good time.
Tell us about the nature walk. No, not the naturist walk. Tell us about the nature walk.
We did so we actually did multiple things. The first one wouldn't have been the nature walk, but I can start there. We did a cool, what was it, 3/4 mile walk? I think.
Yeah, maybe a little further than that.
They took us through multiple areas. They took us to their swampy marshland. Showed us kind of how that works up there, which is really cool.
Peat bogs, basically.
Yeah, peat bog, and how crazy it is, and it'd suck you right up.
Saw
some deer, which are tiny. What they call them?
Stika deer.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, they were tiny.
Yeah,
but
blacktail.
Yep. And then they got us to this overlook that overlooked this river, and that was absolutely gorgeous. I wish we were there 2 weeks later. The salmon would have been running, so we would have actually probably more than likely seen bear. But not much I can do at that. Yeah. But
well, beautiful. You know, the other reason the guide carries a gun is because moose are a little intimidating.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got 2,000 plus pounds of moose that wants to defend his territory, and marshy bogs are one of his territories. And Jorgen, that's just a little 18-year-old here. That's all. So, cheers.
I don't remember. Was that did we take that on the island?
That was on the island.
Yeah, so they said it's rare for them to see moose because
they don't make the swim.
They don't make the swim over.
Okay.
It's not unheard of, but it's rare.
Something they normally do it, and then they see the bears, they turn around and swim back.
Yeah,
is what they said. But that was at Hoonah Icy Strait Point. The day before was Juneau. We actually went on a whale watching excursion, and that was incredible. I know most of the guys in this, or everybody in this group's seen of some of the photos and videos. I got some incredible shots. I'll be posting those probably to the Discord either tonight or tomorrow. I've been working on a couple of folders with some stuff.
Yeah, we had 2 juvenile humpback put on a show for us, breaching the water, twisting in the air, tail flaps, just incredible. And this is all within 30, 40 feet of us from the back of the boat. Just incredible show.
Nice.
But other than
Nice.
that,
Yeah.
the other 2 stops, we kind of just went into town,
into
kind of
town.
enjoyed ourselves, just kind of get out and relax. So
Drank some good microbrew
Yeah.
on the ship. Had a pub. That's all they served. Well, they served other things, but they specialized in microbrew. Had about 20 taps with all different microbrew and plenty of good food, and it was a good time.
probably some of the best salmon I've ever had.
Oh yeah,
that's for sure.
That
was after the whale watching.
After the whale watch, we went to a place. It was part of the excursion. They took you and they cooked. Was it
silverback or coho
salmon over a fire? They called it a salmon bake. Excellent salmon. Of course, they had all the fixings: cornbread, scalloped potatoes, salad. And I tell you what, for a buffet meal that was prepared out there, it was excellent.
And a lot of people think, oh, Alaska is just mountains, stuff like that. Yes, there's a lot of mountains, but it was just a lot more than
lots of flatland in
absolutely.
Yeah.
And my favorite part of the trip, besides the excursions, was the number of bald eagles I saw.
Oh God, yeah.
I think at one time we saw like 15
just
in one 360 or 180 degree view out of their ship.
Yeah.
At one of the ports. It's like you could see them just sitting in the tree line. It was
actually
incredible.
they call bald eagles up there like rats. They're that many of them. It's crazy.
Yeah, well, scavengers. That's all they are.
They are.
Yeah.
They're not. The raptors that we think of as that. So, yeah, just think of it. Just think of every one of them like the IRS agents.
Yeah. But it's if you can afford to go and you have the time, I recommend it. Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
Now, what kind of bears were they worried about up there by you?
Those were the coastal brown bear.
Yeah, coastal
brown bear.
Browns. Okay,
Yep.
Kodiaks.
Yep.
Basically.
Yeah, I think they're a little bit smaller than the Kodiaks because they're on Kodiak Island, but they're just a little bit smaller from what the guide told us.
Yeah, we've seen plenty of scat along the trail.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was
Fresh
all over the
scat,
trail.
so. But other than that, beautiful. We're talking. We would love to do a trip up there in the winter time to see the Northern Lights.
Northern Lights. That's on my bucket list.
So, but
Take your long johns.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. They say it gets down to -30. I'm like, I get down to like -20 wind chill sometimes here. I'm like, I can be used to that probably.
No. Negative 30 is just normal. Then you get the wind chill and it's, well, that's okay. You're only 2 months away from a good bear hunt.
Yeah.
August.
What were the guys carrying in the way of firearms?
So during the walk, they had a guide with us, and she was carrying a Marlin 4570 lever action.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Factory loads?
I didn't ask. I was more worried about it. It was such beautiful, breathtaking views.
They just kept them slung because there was a couple women in the group that you could tell were afraid to death. Somebody was around them with firearms, and they were kind of turned off. Why they have these guns? And then they explained the bear situation, and
they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna stand next to you." I'm like,
yeah. They were kind of, they were.
Yeah, that they learn real fast that the slowest person there is the loser. Okay,
that probably would have been me.
I don't know.
I could have pushed somebody down.
You could have.
Now you're thinking. See, now you're thinking proper.
Sorry, babe, you ain't gonna make it.
Another thing we did actually before the cruise. So we got out there a day early, actually a day and a half early, and my favorite movie.
Your favorite or one of your favorites?
Top 5.
Okay.
It's in my top 5. Is the movie Goonies. And Astoria, Oregon is only about 3 hours from Seattle. So we had a day to waste. So we drove down to Astoria and saw all the Goonie sites, and it's a cool little town. If you're ever out in that area and have a chance to go, Astoria is a really cool town.
Yeah,
a lot of good. We actually had, what was that, good breakfast? Well, we didn't eat breakfast. Everybody at that coffee shop, which was good, and then lunch was excellent at that microbrewery. But other than that, incredible. The jailhouse is now a museum. So if you're ever out there, and there's more than just Goonies that was filmed in Astoria. You had, we found this out. What was it? Kindergarten Cop. Yeah, Kindergarten Cop was filmed there.
Yep.
Free
Willy. There's probably 15, 20 movies that were filmed in either the Astoria or state of Oregon. So
went to Lewis and Clark's Winter Outpost.
Fort.
I can't remember the name of it.
Clyde Top or something like that. It was where they stayed.
Clap
Top or something.
Like that.
We went there. It's where they stayed when they reached the Pacific that winter. We kind of find it cool because we still don't know. We got to look back at the genealogy. We're related to one of them.
Yeah.
So we got to do some. That was kind of cool. We thought that was kind of cool for us, but we've been where they start and then where they ended. So it's kind of cool. But other than that, great trip. So if I didn't want to know how much I thought about asking. So in our first stop, Sitka, we were going into all the little shops. One of them was this little outdoor shop, and they sold guns and stuff. And I look up in the top, they had a Remington rolling block, and I thought about seeing what caliber it was, and by chance if it was for sale. But then I thought, I don't even want to know what it would cost to ship this home. So, but I didn't even think about it at that point. But it came into my mind for a quick second.
Maybe he would have took your CNR.
But, well, I couldn't get that.
Getting it back on the ship.
That would have been the hard part.
The thing is, Nick, believe it or not, you're making a purchase in the United States, so it wouldn't be really that big of a deal.
Yeah, I know.
Shipping might be a little.
That was my issue. I didn't want to know what shipping would cost, and I think that was on a Sunday, so everything was closed. So there would have been no way to go to the post office.
Shipping to Alaska, the last I checked was about $125 to $145.
That ain't terrible.
Yeah.
It was kind of, it was up there, but
you send it through the post office, and the post office uses FedEx to ship it around. Yeah. So
I did kind of get an awakening there. They were talking about, just in casual talk with some of the people on the giving us the tour and stuff. We take it for granted here in the mainland states where we order something on Amazon with Prime, we can have it in 2 and 3 days. Even with Prime up there, they're talking anywhere from 7 to 14 days with Prime. If it's regular, it can be back like the old snail mail days or 30, 40 days.
No, they said almost 8 weeks sometimes.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like, oh my God.
It's crazy.
And that was in Juneau even.
Yeah, in Juneau. But good trip.
Yeah, there was a few disappointments, but that's what you're going to have that with every trip. But
well, you didn't get sick on the ship.
Nope.
What was the entertainment like on the ship?
Excellent.
If I've always wanted to see Jersey Boys, it's not the actual Broadway, but it's a Broadway production.
Licensed production, yeah.
If you ever get the chance to go see Jersey Boys, do it. It's incredible. They had that, and then all the bands were good.
They had the Beatles Experience.
The Beatles Experience. It was a group from Argentina, and they sounded almost identical. It was incredible. For some people, guys that came from a Spanish-speaking country that can sing in a British accent, it was incredible.
Yeah.
But
as John Lovitz used to say, it's acting.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good job.
So, and the booze was it all inclusive, or did you have to pay for it?
We bought a package.
When we bought our cruise tickets and package and everything, alcohol was included up to a certain amount. It was up to like a drink was $13. You couldn't exceed 13, or then you paid the difference.
You paid the difference.
So, but that got me most of my stuff I drank. And cool thing about it, I could get 2 beers at one time.
Yeah.
I think I ended up drinking at the brew house. I think I drank 20 beers over the week.
Yeah.
So
I got some pictures of Nick passed out on the couch. He had a little
I think
too much one day.
I think I had 7 that day.
Passed out and got his mouth open.
Drooling.
Well, I think I had 7 beers before dinner, and I started to get around 1:00. So yeah. And I say I won the contest because they kept this thing on the. Well, everybody else, I call them cheating because
they weren't drinking micro.
they weren't drinking. They were drinking like canned, bottled,
Coors
like
Light.
Coors Light, Mick Ultra. I'm like, that's cheating. I'm drinking actual draft 5.2 to
Alaskan.
9.0 beer from the tap. That's like double what you're drinking. So,
Well, the other guys are drinking piss water, so
that too.
Yeah,
I wanted to enjoy.
there's no flavor to it. All they're doing
No.
is just chugging.
The top guy drank like what, 30 some beers that week?
Like 42.
Yeah.
But that was all canned stuff. I'm like, I drink 20 at least. That's what they found him when I
In the
scanned
log.
my card. It's all draft. So, but
Yeah.
that's hearsay, no say. But other than that, great.
Nice. Well, the lady has got a new toy.
Yeah.
What you got, Sharenda?
How much of it can I show?
Probably the barrel.
Just the barrel?
Yeah.
Okay.
Then you can show the stock with the barrel hidden.
No, show the barrel.
She's got a long gun of some kind.
And it's threaded for a suppressor.
It is. I knew for a few weeks, but Savage Arms had reached out to me and I thought it was a joke. So they actually had to have somebody else reach out to me to get in touch with them. They invited me to be a brand ambassador. So my learning tool of choice was the Axis 2 Precision 6.5 Creedmoor. So I'm going to attempt to learn how to shoot long distance, and it's naked. So they want me to do the basic stuff that I do anyway on my social media. Just document the good, the bad, the fun. How many other women I'm going to drag along? Like I've already got one lady that reached out to me from probably about an hour away from me. Can I come with you when you go to the range? And I'm like, oh heck yeah! She went out and bought her a 6.5 Creedmoor. I'm looking
Nice.
for a scope, so she'll be ready. So I'm excited. It's yeah. I'm like a toddler with a new toy.
Outstanding lady.
But thank you. It was hilarious. I really thought it was a joke. I was like, Savage Arms ain't reaching out to me. These people gonna tell me they want $500 to send me something, and I was like, holy shit. This is real. So it was.
So it wasn't from Hakeem the Nigerian Prince?
No, it was actually the social media person that does all their posting for them. She reached out
Nice.
to me.
Nice.
So you're
That's
saying that rifle's worth roughly $500 and they loaned it to you?
Oh, it's not.
No.
It's worth more than that.
It's $1,000, and
Wow.
y'all heard that meme that's been floating around with the Hispanic guy talking about they gave it to me. That was me. They gave it to me. So all the places I'm gonna go to Plink.
Yep.
From a long way off.
Baby steps, Jim. Baby steps.
Start at
Tell you
2.
what, 600 yards is a long way, but thousands even further.
Hell, with the places I have access to, 200 yards is a long way away. So I'm gonna document that to how to shop for a range locally in your area. So it'll be a little.
Sharenda, here's a note for you, and make sure, Chris, if you would, please make sure to leave us in the show. Wheretoshoot.org.
Well, I know about that, Jim, but
Yeah, we told her that a couple weeks ago.
yes, but some of those places are not feasible.
I understand, but it's still there.
Yeah. So that'll be fun.
You'll find it.
Yeah,
Oh,
man.
I found some places. It's just a matter of me going out there to do a tour, see how far it is, drag the cackling hens out there with me. See what kind of legal trouble we can get into. Not illegal, but legal, non-injuring kind of trouble. So
I wish you would have let me know what kind of gun you were looking for. They have a really really nice number 12 bench rest. Okay, and 6mm Norman.
Were you going to give it to her, Paul?
No, I was. If she was going for it,
then it defeats the whole purpose of this entire conversation. Savage gave her the rifle.
Yeah, they gave
I
her.
know,
Giving her
but
the rifle.
what you can ask for. She's telling us what she asked for, and I'm
Well,
sitting there
they give
saying,
you a list of
"Oh,
ones you
okay,
can choose
okay."
from, but they actually recommended that one to me because they I guess they interview you. They call you, they talk to you, they interview, and it's not really an interview. You just have casual conversation with them and just talk about a few things. And
All of a
so,
sudden, she wakes up in a dark room with a single light bulb hanging from the ceiling.
That's
She's
right.
tied to the
yeah, and they're like, "You're gonna shoot a precision rifle," and I was like, "Oh my gosh, you're gonna make me shoot a precision rifle? What am I to do?"
Well, wait till you got to start
So,
reloading for it.
Shrenda, I've
Yep.
got a friend of mine that I need to get you in contact with
Okay.
that is a long distance shooter currently and
Bet.
shoots up to 2 miles.
Yes, please give them my phone number.
So
Yeah.
So
So
yeah,
the
I'll get you in touch with her.
Brenda, look at your screen, dear.
which one? Oh. Where is Cameo at?
Google it.
Colorado, I think. Anyway, in case you guys hear some weird noises,
Cameo shooting.
we got throwing. We got. Oh, you guys can't see anyway.
Yeah.
We've got thunderstorms rolling through the area, and the wife's off at Bible study, so the doggos are in here with me, and Remy has decided that he wants to start asking to leave, and his favorite way to asking to leave is so.
Oh,
That rifle, is that a Savage 110 in a chassis, or is it a special?
No,
it's special.
It's an Axis in an MDT chassis.
Okay.
Yep.
Or an Axis 2 in an MDT. So the Axis 2 is the one that they sell for, depending on which design you get, it's anywhere from, well, it was $350. Now it's about $400 to about $550, depending on what they make it in a couple different options with a couple different scope options and a couple different stock options. But it's just a plain solid shooter.
Yeah.
Obviously they do a little more to it when they put it in that MDT chassis. But from what I've heard from the couple we've sold from the store, 600, 700, 800 yards are just tack drivers.
Yeah.
And so you're talking, it's retails at $900 at Cabela's.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, basically they did what the Ruger did with the RPR and expounded upon it and cut the price quite a bit. So,
Yeah, for a starter gun, I think it'll be a good economical starter one, which is one of the reasons why I finally got up off my butt and got my bench and stuff set up and relocated into the AC because I knew it was coming. So,
now what kind of glass you going to put on it?
I don't know. That's what I'm looking into right now. I may be hitting up Nick. I gotta think about it. I don't know what I want. That's the fun part. I'm a blank slate.
How much can you afford? That's the question.
How much do I want to afford?
1,000 or more.
So here's what I think I'm gonna do. I haven't really set a base price yet, but I think I'm gonna get not necessarily like maybe midway there because I mean realistically I'm not gonna be shooting past 400 currently and then save up and get the big one when I start doing something. I gotta learn the basics first.
So if your plan is to shoot 400, just get a Crossfire 2 or a Diamondback. Okay. At most, you're in $200. It'll get you out to 400, 600 yards without a problem. and then you're going to have plenty of time to save up for quite a bit better.
Yep. And then I figured, when I get better, I'll just pass it on to the next person that needs
There you go.
one.
You should wear out a barrel by the time you get there. So
Yeah, I got the list going currently of stuff I need to buy and get and crap I don't have. I'm excited, which surprisingly is not much. Like the first thing I do need to go buy is a torque wrench. I don't know why I don't own one already. Just
okay.
weird.
It's a mechanic specialized tool.
Yeah.
Well, what they're looking at is she's looking at an
Inch
pound,
pounds. Okay, you're
inch
talking about.
pound
Wheeler fat wrench is pretty good.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Wheeler fat wrench.
I got
Fix
one.
it. Fix it sticks
Yeah.
are a little more money.
Well, Wheeler just came out with their own set of the Fix-It sticks
Yeah,
that are nice.
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
And you can go on to Amazon and buy torque limiters that that'll give you your 65-inch pounds, your 15-inch pounds, and your 45-inch pounds, depending upon what rings you use and everything else. Buy your rings first, and then buy the torque limiter that fits the rings. Okay, in other words, if they got they want 45-inch pounds on the cross bolt, well, then you can get that.
What?
Strike Eagle, Arkin, has got some scopes out there with a package deal where you're going to be about $650 or so, with everything from a shooting bag to rings to a 5x25 scope. You got your Vortex, and you can go all the way up to the PS2, which can they have deals on that, and there's quite a few new ones that are out there. Bulldog, I guess, is another one in the lower price range, but still in a good a good piece of glass for shooting. And the thing is, with the new machining and everything else that they've got, you're only limited by the glass itself. Tracking on all these scopes are really, really good. It's just the glass quality, you're just, the numbers are, the number is always in the quality of the glass.
Okay. Yeah. I am gonna reload for it too.
So you got to get a set of dies, and
my suggestion is that you talk to Robin Sharpless at reloading.equipment.com, whatever their website is.
Mike's got some. I'm gonna snatch from him.
You
Oh,
mean
right there.
Oh, right
you
there.
mean
There you
these
go.
right here that she's getting from me?
Yep.
Outstanding.
Because I decided not to do the 6.5 thing.
Courtesy of Island Shipping.
No, it'll be better than that.
Okay.
Yeah,
I got the poor woman payment plan going.
Sharenda, so I don't know if you know the one that you're looking at for me that's the Diamondback Tactical.
Diamondback Tactical. I have that. That's saved in our text. Diamondback Tactical. Yeah.
And that price you see is rings and all, and they're Leopold rings, so
Oh, okay.
you're getting good rings there.
Oh, and I'm gonna have to buy an additional safe too.
Oh, poor you.
That's the only down. Now another thing, Sharenda, are you guys through Expert Voice at the gun shop?
I did find out I am. I do have the account, so I am scheduling to do things in it.
Go to Wheeler. You can get a fat
Wheeler?
wrench for about $30.
Okay.
32.62.
Yeah, something like that. Like half off.
I already know.
Is Snap Safe still on Expert Voice?
Yeah,
Yep.
it should be. That's where you're.
So I think we need to probably revisit reloading for
6.5. Yeah.
I think we need to revisit that.
So you're going to look at, say 142 grain burger, hollow point boat tail.
Note the brand name, Shredda.
I got it.
Burger.
Yeah.
Some of the best bolts on the market.
And Lapua brass. And if we can get you some federal primers, and we can go small rifle primers in that, and 2 powders, Alliant RL26 and Hodgdon 4350.
Oh, I may have a Hodgdon one here already. I had to check.
Yeah. So that's where I would start off. I don't want you to start in on any of the Vitivori powders yet, because they're just so much money. You're paying for all that shipping in here.
I'm about to be appropriately in DMs.
And then 21st Century for your expanders. And Armanoff for your tool head for your 550.
Okay. I'm actually familiar with them. I think I've ordered some stuff from them before.
Armanoff's tool heads. Hang on a sec.
Double check. Sometimes when you come across those widow sales, you just get it, not knowing if and when you'll need it, and then I have to look at it and be like, oh yeah, I got that. Okay, yeah, no, I don't have this one. I got the case gauge from them. Okay. Look, next time I do Appleseed, it's gonna be way more fun.
Okay, this is an Armanoff tool head. It has it has screws that go all the way through and lock this in, but the die is rings have a screw that holds it in place, but the rings allow movement, so it stays in concentric with it. And the nice thing about it is you can use 4 of their rings on it, because it will handle 4 different rings.
Okay.
So tool head locks right into the Dillon 550.
Got it.
And they do make them for $650 too. So if you're looking at that, yeah.
All right, let me add that to the list to check out.
Yeah, we'll get you all set up. $10,000 later.
I'm gonna spend that on ammo.
What'd you do in guns reloading this week, Mike?
Nothing. I worked. Oh, actually, no, I lied. I turned 2 guns into 4 guns. So
That's hard to do.
Put you
Well,
in
I
for,
don't know.
put you in for Saint. You can perform a miracle like that.
yeah.
Well, it just depends, if he overloads the case,
No, 3 of the 4 guns are actually functioning.
Oh, okay.
But
454 bore. You're not going to get much better as far as the quality of the heads. from Armanoff. You're, 40 some dollars for a tool head, and I think they're about $20 a ring for the rings. Come with all the screws and everything else that go together, washers, the whole 9 yards. So they're not bad. They're not bad. They're high quality.
All right. So, seeing as how it's episode 404, I kind of had to have some fun with the title. And so, usually when 404 comes up, when you're scrolling through on your computer, this page not found. And unfortunately, in our hobby, that's becoming more and more and more common, is page not found, as in reloading book manual page not found, because people aren't buying them. Whether that's because they're using what's out there on the web, or they're asking in places like the Reloading Room and the Reloading Podcast group, that type of thing. Or so they think that the internet's just the end all be all, and they don't need the paper books anymore. I don't need to be zoomed on. Stop that. Jim, what was it like having stone tablets?
But I will tell you what you're. I know what you're alluding to. Actually, electronic information is precious. It's very valuable, but it's also very volatile. Without electricity, we don't have that information.
Right.
We depend upon the power companies for that. We just lost Mike. Anyway, that's what I mean by volatile. That reloading manual is absolutely critical. And sorry, Mike, you're back.
I mean, it could be just like what happened there. Poof! All of a sudden you're there, and then it's gone.
That's right. It's volatile. I don't know if you heard what I said.
Yeah.
But I said the reloading information on screen is volatile.
Yep. And that's why I purposely did what I did.
Okay. So anyway, the point is, of course, that reloading manual, it's not going to go away. It's got a better memory than you ever will have, even if you do put a few crib notes in the left and right side margin. But the page not found, unless your house burns down, God forbid, you're going to have your reloading manual. You're not going to throw something like that away. If you let your wife clean your bench up, you're a fool. Or you let your
Honey, I combined all these half-empty powders for you into this one big jug.
Oh yeah, that age-old jug. Hey, honey, it saves you a lot of space.
Hey. Some of us may just say, "Hey, honey, I relocated it to my workroom."
Hey,
This is your Bible, though. Okay, guys, this is your notes that you put together as you reload and write things down. For what you're doing. Your reloading sheets, and everything that go into it to find out, what it is.
Paul, you're absolutely right about the value of that. But the point is, I'm talking about the manual itself. Your book is created by you. It's not created by a publisher of any kind whatsoever.
Paul, would you hold up one of those pages again?
Sure.
Can you just bring it closer to your camera, Paul?
Yeah.
So you can see he's got a bunch of. This is probably on a typewriter.
No, this is actually from Reading. You can go on to Reading and get this sheet and download it.
All right.
And print it, and then fill it in, and go from there.
So that's why I say Mr. Nelson created that data that's in that notebook.
Yeah.
But my point was go to the publisher's manual, like Lyman, Hornaday, Sierra, yeah, all that. Those books are not volatile. They'll retain their information indefinitely.
And plus, most of them have some sort of other information in them besides just the reloading data.
That's right. They have
Usually-
recipes. Go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
Usually, like in the Hornady here, it kind of shows the different dies and different descriptions and stuff. Let's make that bigger so everybody can see. So, I mean, like right here, it's got the dies and stuff. You know, and there's different drawings and pictures and showing seating depths and labeling and cleaning and how you measure cartridge overall length and
how to reload.
Yeah.
Basically, it's a tutorial on how to reload with the
now some of
equipment-
them. Sorry, go ahead.
No, with the equipment that they're selling, that they sell. Lyman does the same thing. Spear uses RCBS. On down the line, okay. There's instructions. There's how to cast bullets. I mean, there's tons and tons of information that they produce that we need to keep to keep track of, because guess what, you know, sometimers disease slips in there, and sometimes I remember and sometimes I forget.
Mhm.
But you know, that's why I write down my stuff that I'm looking at, so I know what I load for on a gun and everything else. But it started from a book somewhere to give me a starting load.
Yeah, and the thing is it's important to oh my goodness, Vanessa's gone off the math end again. So but it's important to have all this, and whether you are a techie and have a tablet that you created a notebook on and keep this digitally as you're going through and doing it, or you know, paper, and then maybe you upload it later via a scanner or something, turn it into a PDF. I recommend doing it both ways. The nice thing is, if you make that digital and you upload it to the cloud, if you're not home, you can still get to that information if you didn't bring the hard copies with you. So that's kind of the nice thing there. And the other nice thing is now you're backing up your paper copies to the cloud. So in case you do have that worst case scenario where you have a fire, you don't lose those years of data. So,
You know, there's a comment there that who was it that says he's got a 4-inch thick Reloader 762, says a reloading notebook of over 4 inches thick. This is just of my guns that I know what the loads are. So not experimentations or anything like that. These are known loads. If I come up with a new one, then a page gets added to it.
Right.
But I have all kinds of paper up there with all my loads that I've ever tested out, and a lot of the targets too. So, you know, digitally I can keep targets. Programs that work. What is it? On Target, and there are other ones like that you can get. You know, you can record your targets, the data, and everything else on it. And you can do it with your on your phone. You can walk up to the target, take a picture of it, measure your group, put your load data in that was in it, and go from there. And at the same time, probably download the chronograph data. But it still starts with a book. something hard copy, preferably,
Absolutely.
and you don't throw out books. I mean, I think I got Spear number 5s. I think is one or 3 or 5. I don't remember. 3, excuse me. Spear 3. Now, would I use some of the loads that they give me? Not right now, no. uh, some of them are pretty warm compared to what they list nowadays.
Yeah. One thing that Nick and I do, it's kind of similar. You know, everybody's got a page either in their book. They got their powder burn chart. We've got a list of powders that we have in inventory, and we keep that digitally shared in Drive. So if I'm out on the road and I go to a store and I see a good deal on say IMR 3031, I can go look and see what we currently have in inventory between the both of us. And if it's a good deal, I know I can buy a few pounds of that. Or, you know, I know what dyes we have. You know, you can't keep everything in your head to know what dyes you have, etc. You know, we keep a log for each, share it between the both of us in Drive. And if either of us in both ends of the country, we know whether we have it or not and whether to buy it.
Yeah, primers, bullet molds, everything that we have, we keep a data sheet of everything we have in stock, and if we need it, and we used to, I need to kind of start doing this again. Get what an average price of like that item cost. It's hard to do right now because everything's usually out of stock and stuff like that. But that's one thing I kept up to date pretty
now
good.
It's if they have it in stock and they got it, you buy it. That's how the sheets or whether books or a printout, but you know, we kind of do that electronically and it helps us out.
Keep a book on each rifle.
Yeah.
Like this. And impact data book that you can to keep track of how a gun shoots. And which one is this? Okay, after the last prairie dog hunt, the barrel that's on this on 1223 has got 1,850 rounds through it.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, how you keep round count, because I know some of your barrels have a limited lifespan. So
yeah, and that's what I do. I come into here and you can. They have an actual sheet that gives you round that you can have for round count, and it's right in the rain. And so that's the actual sheet for that one. And then you put all the information in as far as what it is, the caliber,
Hold that up, Paul, please. I can almost make it out now.
Yeah. So hang on a sec.
Oh, you got that in ink or pencil?
Pencil. I've always been working with engineers and stuff. So
It's extra tidbit if no one else is aware. Writing Rain does make the Writing Rain pencil too.
Yeah. So this gives you your information and everything, so you can just go through and put what's in it and everything else. Pencil, yes. I keep regular. Engineers are really funny. We write everything in pencil. Because if you make a mistake, I guess what? But yeah, it's all data. Everything is data. It's to keep all the fingers and eyeballs and not shoot my face off and all that other kind of good stuff. You know, experimenting with a new toy now, guys. So I have trying out a new new caliper, set of calipers for digital micrometer for case head expansion. So
I told Paul earlier off the show, that's a device you can use to actually tell when your primer pockets have expanded to, or beginning to expand beyond safe limits. Something you can't feel, but something you can measure.
Right, and it keeps my case heads safe. In other words, I can measure out in the field and know if I'm getting to the point where I'm getting too much expansion in my case head. So,
here's a question I've never heard before, Mr. Nelson. Do not case heads expand with every cartridge fired?
Case heads will expand with every firing. Okay. Right. So they will do that. But what you're doing is taking a new piece of brass and you're comparing it to how much it grows. And if you see from your starting load to your maximum load, you start to see it grow exponentially faster. Then you know you've hit a point where you've exceeded pressures for the cartridge. So it's a little bit of record keeping, yeah, and it's testing it out. And you can't use range brass and all that kind of stuff to do it. You have to use good brass and see what happens.
Sounds like you'd have to use the micrometer on the case head with every shot fired for every cartridge that you're keeping track of.
Right, and for every load development too, you're keeping track of. If I shoot 10 rounds of a new load development, so I'm going up in 0.2 of a grain increment for 10 rounds, I will measure each one to see if I'm getting excessive case head.
Guys, what Paul didn't say is he measures it before he fires it, then he measures it after he fires it. Each case gets measured actually twice.
Right. And the reason I'm trying these out is because a normal blade micrometer, it runs in the $200 to $600 range.
Yep.
And this here is under $100 from iGaging. So I just unboxed it today, and I get to start playing with it to see how it works. But it's carbide points in here, and
you'll never wear them out.
No, and they're 30-degree angle, and it's just
you can actually measure down in the extractor group with that.
Yes, you can.
Paul, let me ask you another question. Maybe
sure.
Never mind. I see the answer. The cable was the question was about that cable that's under the
Oh,
handle. Of the
That's
monitor.
for the camera, but if you want, you can
There you go. That's what I was going to ask you.
you can get a cable for this, and it will write to a Excel spreadsheet.
Very good. Very impressive.
So,
So there's a data port on it.
yes, and you can get it either Bluetooth or by cable.
Very nice, Mr. Nelson. Very nice.
I will let you know just so you understand that they're claiming that accuracy is to
Hundreds of thousands has to be.
1,600,000, and repeatability is to which is the important part. It's the repeatability is your is the key, and this is in less than 10,000ths of an inch.
Dub
So-
D-Dub 3037. His question is, how would you measure primer pockets with that thing? You
I
can't.
no.
You cannot. What you can do is measure the case head inside the extractor groove and at the web of the head. And you can, Paul, if you would, slide your camera forward.
Yep.
Camera
Second.
forward, Paul. Don't slide
Okay.
back. And just like that. And what that does, D-Dub, is to allow him to determine how much primer pocket expansion he's picking up because he's starting with a new case.
Right. So this would you come in and right on here's the line right for the case. It's right at the end of the extractor groove where the bevel is, and I can come in there and then adjust it, read it, write it down, and then the next one the same thing. I can also go into with these, I can go into the extractor groove and get right in there, and
That'll give you better expansion measurements because that extractor groove is right around the primer pocket anyway.
right. So
Excellent question, D-Dub. Thank you very much, sir.
so right there is the end of the groove. So there we go.
Oh, Paul's using his left thumb. I know he's not left-handed,
Yeah.
but actually that little thimble on the very end. Paul, would you touch that little ratchet?
Well, this is on this one here, just so you know, on eye gauging, this is for regular for movement. This is your click, as you see. I'll hold it here, and that is your clicker right there.
I'll be damned. So
They
in
give
other
you
words,
the-
you crank
they-
it down too tight, the whole thimble turns or
Yeah,
ratchets. Okay.
exactly.
Also, the big one's got the clutch on it then.
Right.
Wow.
Yes. Which is nice because it gives you a good feel for it
Yes,
instead
sir.
of
It
having to
would.
use the little one all the time.
Question, Paul. Now, when you mic your brass like that, are you recording that information or is it just a no-go gauge?
No, I record it.
You record it? Okay.
Because that way when I go to fire it in load development, then I can tell if I how much expansion I'm getting.
Okay.
And when it usually what happens, you come up to a point where you get 2 10,000ths, okay, over of what the last three were or something like that. That tells you hit the limit on the load prior. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I mean, how are you keeping? So each piece of brass has its own.
In the load, yes. In the load
Okay.
development, yes.
Okay.
So if there's 10 pieces of brass in that 2/10 as I'm going up to find out that load, okay, being from the same lot, I'll measure all the way up, and then when I get to that 2/10,000ths, I'm going to sit down and say, "Oops, that's it."
Okay.
Okay, over the expansion of the other one. Okay, the one before it.
Interesting.
D-Dub put up another good question. His question was, makes more sense. That's pretty sweet. He couldn't see the resolution. My next comment was, this thing works to the 100th of 1,000.
Yeah.
Not tenths of a thousandths, 100ths of a thousandth. That's pretty damn fine measurement.
And it's certified. That's the other thing too. It has a certification that comes with it.
Careful, careful, careful. You're pushing it around with your stomach or your shirt sleeve, whichever that is. You don't want to drag that tool off onto the floor.
No, I won't.
If you notice too how heavy the frame is, it's around those points. That thing there, if you're doing all right, if you stretch that thing out. There you go, Paul. We conduct quality assurance under ISO 9001 certified quality system.
And it gives you your tracing number for it.
Very good.
So you get certificate, you get everything for it. And
one more time, Paul, what is the name of that micrometer?
this is the eye gauging. And this is with the 30-degree points, okay? Carbide points. So
what is it called, Paul? I know it's for eye gauging, but what is it called? The correct name. We just want to get it on the air.
Oh, I'm trying to.
Sorry.
Let me find I'm looking for the actual box that came in to see if it's got a.
Jorgen Reagan, you need to behave yourself, damn it. Anytime Tools.
That's who sells it. 1-inch double 30-degree point digital micrometer from eye gauging.
Very good. Jorgen's comment is, you can tell Jim's an old machinist when he panics watching someone else risk a precision tool hitting the floor.
Yeah, Jim, that was the most animated I've ever heard you.
Shut up, Shannon. Why are you gonna be right all the time? Unmute your camera, girl, so you can see it. Room of yours. Misbehaving. Anyway, thank you, Paul. Appreciate that screenshot.
So.
I was using micrometers today that goes down to the hundreds of a thousandth. This Mitsutoyo 0 to 1 micrometer.
I gotta say that eye gauging has I got a MITS and it's just so hard to read for me at my age now. So I want something that's got a bigger screen on it.
Yep.
Eyeballs getting old.
I don't know. I'm just trying to find that one on eye gauging. So
go to Amazon.
What was it called again, Paul?
That's the 30-degree point digital micrometer.
Paul, just out of curiosity, that was 0 to 1 range.
Yes. And it
That's a
is
sweet looking mic, I'll tell you that.
a lot heavier than most of the other ones that are on the that they have on the market.
Well, it's because of all the electronics in that heavy ass frame.
Yeah.
That frame's got to be at least an inch and a half wide down around the back of the C.
Yeah, and it's 3/8 of an inch thick too.
Woo! No
Okay.
giving that frame. Even Starrett doesn't make them that heavy.
Can you bring that one up, Mike?
I'll add it up right now.
I'm searching, but the computer's being slow on Amazon.
That's not a bad price either. $87. That doesn't
Yeah.
include shipping, but still, if you're on
Sure.
Prime, that would include shipping.
Right.
And it's a replacement for a blade mic.
Yes, that's why the cheapest blade mic I can find out there is almost $200.
Bugger that. Compared to this,
Yeah.
this will do a better job too. The carbide points, you'll never wear that out.
Right.
Never. Not unless you start measuring glass or something like that. Something hellishly abrasive.
The stand's separate.
Yeah, the stand is separate.
Okay.
There, you can buy those stands for, for $20, $30, and they're not a problem as far as that goes.
Yeah.
Always buy yourself a stand. I mean, for anything that you do, just buy a couple extra stands. They're cheap.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, the nice thing about stand is you can put more than one mic in it.
Yep.
Not at a time. You could move them around.
Right. So, okay.
Yeah, Vanessa, I'll get that in a minute. So did we kind of really covered the basic reasons for having a manual. And then we were talking about Paul's new toy. So, Paul, is that something that's more for a hand loader, or is that something that even a reloader would benefit from using?
I always say that we have to move everybody up to be a hand loader, but a reloader
Not always an option, though.
Yeah, I understand. Does a reloader need it? No. Can a reloader benefit from it? Yes.
Okay.
Agreed.
If he wants to take the time to do the minutia of reloading, just to develop the load, just in developing the load to know where to stop. That's what I look at it as. After that, does he need it? No. That's why $86 isn't bad for someone to put in their little box of tricks to go somewhere with the in reloading for pressures. Primers.
Paul?
Yeah.
Now I have another question for you. I think I know the answer to this, but still, again, as Mike could tell you, I like to play devil's advocate. Okay, how can I tell case 1 that you measured from case 10 that you measured? And how do I keep from mixing them damn cases up?
How do you stop from mixing that up? Well,
Crayons.
I use a little marking pen. So
You mean like a Sharpie?
Sharpie, yeah. I can mark the back of the case with a Sharpie, and that'll tell me, you know, 1 through 10, 1 through 0 is
Yep. Well, the other things too, like when I'm doing load development, I actually write the actual load on the case itself, along with the number of the case.
I just use the numbers mostly because I transfer it to a spreadsheet and I go through and I can
Mhm.
print it out, take it to the field with me
Yep.
and measure. And the other thing is that 2 or 3 colors with your Sharpies. Okay. 1 through 10 would be black. 11 through 20 is red. And then, if you got to go higher than that, then I turn to blue. It's just a way to keep track of what you're doing.
It's a very simple solution. Just use a Sharpie to mark them down.
Right. And like I'm saying, if you got more than one, more than 10 loads, you switch to another color for the second load. And
now there's something else too. You just made me remember. My MTM ammo boxes, particularly for rifle cartridges, you start You start at the top, move to the right, maybe read from left to right. The first cartridge pocket is cell 1-1.
Right.
Then cell 1-2 and 1-3, 1-4, and you move down a row, 4 or 5 rows. You're down to row 5-1, row 5, cell 1, row 5, cell 7, etc. They have them. I think they mark them 1 and 1. I forget to tell you the truth, but it's just another way of keeping that system safe. But you always want to rely on the wall outside of the body of the case. At least I do. Just in case your dog jumps in the truck with you and he just scrambles the hell out of everything and knocks that ammo box. At least you got the Sharpie information written on it that you can sort it out later.
That's what you're talking about, right?
Yes, sir.
So
yeah, they're numbered from left to right. Row 1, and it's also column 1.
Right.
All right, so I've got a comment from Jay Mellum about give it a bump. Hang on a second.
Sorry, Mike.
Says, thanks for the great information in episode 388. Give it a bump. I knew bumping the shoulder was an important part of reloading Bottleneck cartridges, but didn't understand fully what it meant or how to check it. I currently full length size because I load for a 308 AR. I have about 200 federal cases I cleaned, sized, annealed, and trimmed a few months ago. I have always followed the die maker's directions. Screw it down until it touches the shell holder, then give it another quarter turn and tighten the lock nut. These always drop right into my case gauge. Are they on minimum spec side? Yes, but that's always been my method to reload for semi-automatic to get consistent cycling. I'm ready to start reloading these, but of course now I'm curious how much did this push the shoulder back. So I got the Hornet A headspace comparator kit. To my amazement, I'd push the shoulder all the way back from 1.1632 to 1.619, 13 thousandths compared to a fired case. So naturally, I have a question. Are these safe to fire? If I load and shoot them, will they stretch at the case head leading to separation? Being too short, could the case head slam into the bolt causing damage when fired? How much will this affect accuracy? If it weren't for the cost and scarcity of primers, I guess I could fire form them. He said, so now I'm really curious and a little concerned. So I got a Sinclair 20-degree bump gauge insert for my for the 308 that Paul recommended. My fired cases measured 1.580, and my sized cases measured 1.562, a full 18 thousandths shorter. These numbers are quite different from the Hornady set, but those measure off the datum. So I'm guessing the Sinclair gauge measures off the shoulder. If so, that's why my shoulder measurement is 2 thousandths longer than the SAMI specs, which is listed in my manual as 1.560. Wouldn't that make it inspect, even though 18 thousandths, even though it is 18 thousandths shorter than a fired case? Just to clarify, when the cartridge chambers, does the cartridge rest on the datum or on the shoulder? Both the Hornady and Sinclair measurements indicate I bumped my cases back way too far compared to my fired cases, but if the shoulder measurement is correct, I should be fine to fire these, correct? Finally, I have a few boxes of Federal Gold Medal 308 loaded 168 grain Match Kings. They measure 1.620 with the Hornady, only 1 thousandth longer than when I pushed my case next back using the directions with my full-length sizing die, 1.619. Thanks for your feedback. Long question, but I'm sure there are a lot of reloaders do what I have. A lot of reloaders that do what I have and simply follow the manufacturer's directions for setting up the dies and not truly understanding how much they are pushing the shoulder back. So there's a lot to unpack in that, but it's actually some pretty simple answers. So he's talking about all the different measures he did. So basically, all he was doing was following the standard setup for a die, which is what most people do when they're just basically resizing, and that's just crank it down till it touches a shell holder, shell plate, whatever it is, and then give it a quarter turn. So now he's realized that that isn't doing what he thought it was, or at least what he thought it was, until he was given more information, shall we say. Now, in the grand scheme of things, should he freak out?
Well,
No.
first off, I'm always thinking longevity of the brass. He is actually working at brass excessively. And yes, the brass material, metal, the stretching will come from the web of the case, and eventually it will thin, and eventually it will cause head separation.
But he can correct it now.
Yes, sir.
You know, he can go ahead and fire the brass that he's got, hopefully with a mild load, nothing hot, and then resize the case the right way, and for 2 thousandths instead of 18 thousandths, and hopefully he hasn't destroyed the brass. That's, I wouldn't worry at this point out of an AR. And I'd love to see the chamber measurements when they ream the chamber on his AR.
That's another question too. Is it a standard NATO chamber or is it a national match chamber? That's something only the owner of the rifle would be able to tell us.
Mm-hmm. And he could get an RCBS gauge, that the adjustable bullet looking one, and run that in and get a head measurement, a measurement of the shoulder with that, and then have something to work off of. I go 5 thousandths on my M1A, just because I want the chamber all the time, and I use a small base die. So, but for bolt actions, it's definitely just a full length die, and I'm very carefully, creep up onto my 2000 shoulder setback. Or you can go out and purchase a set of Redding shell holders and start, like they say, start with the number 10, and you work your way down till you get yourself your 2000 setback.
I think kind of Jorgen. This comment from Jorgen kind of sums up my thoughts on the whole deal. Unless it happens to be a national match chamber, and it's specifically a barrel 20 inches or longer made for competition shooting. He's dived way too deep into this. Fire the case, bump it back a couple thousands, rinse and repeat. So, Anil the Brass, if he's not already. So, but I think as a general, as he's doing, just be done with it. So I don't think he really needs to, unless he's, like I said, unless it's a national match chamber and he's actually got a competition. It's actually a competition AR. He's too far down the rabbit hole for the gun. Doing that much effort is not going to get him any major benefit, as long as he's being consistent and then the rest of his reloading. That's my personal opinion. My personal opinion does not reflect the opinions of the rest on the panel. So, but anyway, anybody else have anything to add on that? Otherwise, we'll answer Jeff's comment or question. Okay. So Jeff Kuiper, a couple of weeks ago during a show, asked about if we asked about having exploded diagrams for all your firearms. I know we started this, but I think Jim steered us off on a tangent. I thought we actually covered it pretty well. But to sum it up, basically, I don't think any of us has a specific folder or paper copies of all the exploded diagrams and everything. I mean, if you've got a hard to put together gun, maybe. I don't, but I just use Numrich's site if I need it. Jim?
You said it all for me.
Paul?
No, I don't. I don't keep any exploded diagrams for my guns. Don't need it.
Yeah. And I'd say out of our group, if anybody was going to be, because they thought it was necessary, it would probably be Paul, with all of the detail orientation he does with most everything else. So,
yeah, and once you get a firearm of a different class or style, and you know how to disassemble it and put it back together, you don't need the diagram. The only time you need that diagram, if you need to order a part, then you, like say, you go to Numrich, or
yeah,
and they've got it.
Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for that, if it was 15 years ago and Numrich's website was as horrible as it was then, and you couldn't actually get on and look at the diagrams,
yeah,
maybe. But for most of the guns that you're going to come across, they have a diagram. If they don't have a diagram for it, it's rare enough that you shouldn't be taking it apart in the first place if you don't know what the hell you're doing.
yeah.
Because you're going to probably screw something up. My personal opinion. Jorgen said, "I'd love a gun room with a wall framed with exploded diagrams of my favorite firearms." Now you can find those out there. There's this little company called Patriot Patch Company. They make, and if I knew where the hell it was, I'd show you. But they make counter mats that have favorite firearms: the 1911, AR, AK. I don't remember what else they have. But there's also other companies out there that make exactly what Jorgen's looking for. So, but yeah, in the grand scheme of things, there you go. Vanessa's got a great idea on that rare firearm thing. Buy 2, dismantle 1. So,
We use her money or Travis's money, but not ours.
right. Or you could do what I used to do when I didn't know what I was doing working on cars and I had a Polaroid. Take a picture at every stage. So, But yeah, Jeff, as a general rule, unless you're extremely OCD then I would probably say no. Vanessa, I would love to, but I can't afford one. So if you want to buy me one and gift it to me, I would be more than happy to. Her question: anyone use a drone at a range? I know Sean and the gang over at We Like Shooting do. I know a lot of other shows do. Frankly, I've thought about it, but at first I don't get out and shoot enough at this point in time to justify spending podcast money on it. And I don't know if anybody else would want to use one. I know Travis had talked about it for a little while at one point in time, but they won't let him use it for 3-gun competition because he was looking to get one of the fancy ones that'll follow you, like the snowboarders and the skiers use. But oh my gosh. Oh, Jorgen.
I said, Jorgen answers Miss Kitty's comment. Yes, at the trap range.
Only once though.
though.
Well, you know what they said about Amazon drone deliveries? It's skeet shooting with prizes. Oh,
Jeff
my
Kuiper,
goodness.
I'm CDO. You can't have letters out of order in OCD. We're
So
surrounded by
is
maniacs.
CDO completely discombobulated order?
We're surrounded by maniacs, Mikey. You know that.
Yeah, and we're just like the rest of them.
I know Nick and I thought about getting one to take to the range, but we've kind of thought, you know what? As much as all the other stuff you got to take, you know, your guns, your ammo, your range bag, a cleaning kit, spotting scope, everything else. It's just another thing to mess with, and it pulls away from time from shooting. So
Chronograph, lab
yeah,
radar.
chronograph. It's just.
So what I'm hearing is Nick and Ray are quitters before they even get started.
No, we've got a Sony action cam. We do point of view shooting, and I think that's what most people, you know. Then you got to put disclaimers on your videos. You know, remote camera down range. You know, they always think somebody's down range filming you, and it's more work than what's worth.
Oh my goodness!
No,
Speaking
I
of
totally
that,
get it.
yeah, you tell him it was a short little brave guy that's downrange.
Yeah.
What about the target holder?
I stole that from John Roberts on the way back from my dad's today. I was listening to NASCAR, and John Roberts and Chocolate Myers were talking about how Fox used to have that camera buried in the pavement. And John was joking, saying, "Well, I used to thought it was a really short, brave camera guy," and so that's where I got that from. That also wants to know if anybody uses drones GPS to map the distances. I know some people have, but I mean, you're talking expensive. You're talking a few $1,000 drones, and most of us don't have that sort of fundage. Remy, you can't step on the keyboard. We've discussed this before. If you want to be part of the podcast, fine. Stay off the keyboard. So DW-D387 has a great idea. Nothing like a war reenactment with a drone flying over cannon fire.
They won't let us. I've even asked.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's because they're afraid the cannon's going to smoke the drone.
Not even that. It's just with all the heavy equipment that we have on the battlefield, like tanks and all that. It's just, and most time we're either on a military installation or close to an airport.
Oh yeah, they tend to frown on you flying them around military installations.
Well, a lot of times they even do them on airports. They actually do them at airports, so there's definitely that side of the picture.
Yeah,
like
I don't
big one
think
in
like
St.
that
Louis.
if you got your drone sucked into the engine on a 737.
Oh,
Going back to measure distance on a range, what's that software you use to measure distance, Nick? It's down from a satellite and you plot waypoints.
The one I use for hunting?
I don't remember. You've showed me before.
I use Onyx Hunt. Like when I'm
Onyx.
hunting, that's what I use when I'm out figuring out spots for stands where I can my shooting distances.
Yeah,
for my bow. That's what I.
You showed me one. It's an aerial shot. You put a waypoint here and a waypoint there. And
I use Onyx Hunt for hunting, and that's something I've used. If you're shooting at an unknown distance, There's a way you can actually track your walking steps by your GPS on your phone.
Yep.
So that's what I use for that. So.
You can also use good old-fashioned rangefinders. You can also use Google Maps if the bunkers are visible from overhead.
Mm-hmm.
Then you can actually use the every time you zoom in and out in Google Maps, if you look in the bottom right corner, it flashes the scale up for a second. So if you pay attention to that, you can use that to calculate your distance.
There's actually a measure distance tool on there as well. Just right mouse click.
Yep.
I use that a lot as well. It gets me a rough dimension.
Yeah, I mean, it may be off by a foot or two, so
it gets you close.
Vanessa says GPS on phone not very accurate. Well, if you're out in the middle of BFE, yes, of course. That case, then you get yourself an actual. Just go buy a Garmin eTrex. They're like $100, and you can use that to track your distance. So, and those are actually pretty accurate. They're with plus or minus a foot usually.
I'd like to address Jordan Reagan's comment. Can anyone recommend a good enough tripod for midweight spotting scope, hoping for something fairly light and compact, but fairly sturdy and relatively inexpensive?
No.
I have two of them, Jordan. One I bought in Kmart years ago, a professional grade tripod, and then my wife wound up buying me one at a yard sale for $5. It's actually heavier than the professional grade. So that's what my recommendation is. Go to Walmart and see what they got. Or go to yard sales and keep your eyes open.
Amazon.
Or Amazon.
The nice thing about Amazon, if you order it, you get it, and it's flimsy as heck. You just
Send it
pack
back.
Send it back. Uh-oh, we lost Paul.
Good question, Jordan. I like that one.
Yeah, I used one I use when we do competitive shooting. It's from Champion Shooting Supply, but it's a single pole, adjustable, and that's what we put our spotting scope on. What are they, Nick? This is a rough price right there. What's one of those?
Well, those are the pellet stands, but that's going to be roughly around 160.
Yeah, you're looking probably 200 up.
Well, here you go. Hang on. 5/8, 172.
Those are bench. It all depends what you
It all
want.
depends what you want. Yeah, here's the 5/8 tall.
Yeah.
Longer one. 187.
$187.
It's right about 200. But it can stand up to some heavy winds, that's for sure. Compared to some of your standard tripods, they'll blow over. But yeah, you can put the counterbalance weight on top of this and
wind dampener and everything else.
Try a hog saddle.
Yeah, even the hog saddle. Yeah.
They make a tripod there. It's about $140, and it's strong. It has a hook underneath it, so you can hang a backpack or something like that underneath it, and it'll support 17, 18 pounds.
Well, have we beat this one enough?
I'm looking through, and Amazon's got a whole bunch of different ones. They list, if you look, what I did is tripod for spotting scope, heavy duty. So.
What kind of price are you seeing?
Everywhere from 35 to 170.
Jorgen, there you go.
So. And so what Vanessa was talking about is the Garmin Glow Bluetooth GPS. It does position update 10 times per second, provides reliable data. So basically it's just a upgraded GPS receiver to use with your phone. But I think what I'd probably do is I'd get a standalone unit at that point in time.
So. I've used commercial ones, TopCon, and actual accuracy is plus or minus 15 feet.
Yeah.
Okay, on a commercial one. On a Garmin, it can be all over the place, even though they will say you're accurate within 2 feet.
Yeah.
The only thing that matters are the 2 numbers. Okay. And until you can extrapolate the 2 numbers, that's a little chip in it doing its thing. TopCon actually does that. It takes the 2 numbers, and it's a big unit. It's about 2 inches thick, 6 inches wide, 8 inches tall, and it with a GPS receiver on top of it. And then depending upon where you're using it, if you're in the middle of a forest, yeah.
Jorgen, the other reason why I wanted to explain, forgot to, why I use 2 tripods. One is for my chronograph, and the second one, of course, is for the spotting scope. I use a stronger, heavier duty one for my 60 power Citron spotting scope.
Are most people that are using a spotting scope, are they doing it from a bench, or are they just freestanding? Or prone?
All of the above.
Yeah, see, sometimes a 3-legged tripod, if you're going prone,
Isn't practical.
It's not practical. That's why we use a competition spotting scope stand. Plus, you can use that competition one from a bench top. I mean, prone are excellent if you're standing and spotting.
If you're standing behind somebody,
yes,
then a
spotting.
tripod works.
Yes.
Okay. But let it be known that the closer you are to the angle of the shooter, the better off you're going to be in spotting for him.
Yep.
That's why we made that one for my spotting scope.
Yeah.
It's a couple pieces of angle iron and some regular rod. And
yeah.
Yeah.
What you got, Mike? Hold on. What you got?
It won't focus. 10 Senate Republicans have signed on to a deal with Democrats that provides states funding to implement red flag laws.
Rhinos.
The Texas guy got booed off his stage the other day.
A lot of rhinos anymore.
Yep.
There you go, Mike. We got another topic for you. From Adrian Albert. How about a 3-day printing as a topic for reloading tools, hacks, tips, etc.?
Okay. We'll look into that. So.
When you're talking about these Nick and Ray, when you're talking about these competition spotting scope stands, you're talking about the little tripods with like 3-inch legs?
No, this is you've got about an inch rod that's a pure stainless steel rod that's threaded, it's jointed, and it goes down to a 3-legged, but the legs only go out about a foot.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. If you ever look at like I say, what competition shooters would use?
Like the national high power matches out at Camp Perry.
Camp Perry.
It's all what they're using.
Go to Creedmoor Sports.
Creedmoor Sports.
That's where we got ours.
And look at their competition spotting scope tripods.
Yeah, on ours it's got a weight that balances up there, so it dampens any wind. So you can have a 20-mile-an-hour wind, and it's going to dampen that wind to reduce how much your spotting scope bounces. And there again, whether you're shooting prone, standing, or from a bench, it's adjustable for either.
I'll have to look into that because I've always just set up I generally shoot from the bench when I'm shooting my long guns. And I just set up a tripod for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're about 200.
Yeah.
The one we based mine off of is 200.
What size rod is that one, though?
This is the 3/4 inch rod.
Yeah, 3/4
So that's the heavier duty one.
That's a top of the line tripod.
Yeah, they're nice. It's an investment. You agree, Paul? It's something you're gonna have your lifetime.
Yeah, some of those tripods are $900.
Oh yeah,
for Manfrotto. And it isn't so much the tripod itself, which are as expensive, but the head that goes with it, because they're sold without a head.
You're right.
So you get a good, ball head or fluid head, and you're adding $500 to the tripod.
Yeah, we made one for Nick out of some angle iron and some aluminum sheet, and we made the head. There again,
it's great. Works great for the bench, but when I'm shooting matches, it's not ideal.
We can send some pictures. Jim, you can make one work simple. I mean, because you're a machinist. Maybe we'll take some pictures of it and send it to the group.
Yeah,
please do. Please do.
So we got into it. $20-$30.
Yeah, about that.
So. Actually, can you see it in any of the videos? I don't think you can. You might.
I'm looking for pictures. Important thing, Vanessa said, ensure your VRS is fireproof or fire resistant if you're going to use it as a firearms rest.
Yeah. That 6.9 will do that, Mr. Vanessa.
Kaboom. So, speaking of 6.9s and revolvers, we were talking about gas cutting the other day.
Yeah.
I guess there's actually somebody that actually went through and did like some demonstration videos of gas cutting from 22s all the way up to 44 using chicken bones or chicken legs. So.
I know I've seen gas cutting tear sandbags open like nobody's business.
Uh-huh. So Vanessa's got a great idea. Politicians make us pay their security. Can we not make them pay ours? Right?
We're getting political.
So.
But I agree. We're just getting political.
Vanessa also said for her tripod, there's various heads available, so you can change them out. So, but yeah, there's lots of different options for tripods and stuff out there. Monopods, bipods. So, but well, I guess that pretty much covers it for tonight. Let's see what Primary Arms has got on sale today. Ooh, practical or tactical utility sling packs they've got on sale. Magpul CTR carbine stocks, hearing protection, Expo Arms stuff on sale. Don't forget to check for footwear when you're out there shopping. If you need some new range boots, it's always a good thing. Just remember to keep checking because they have a crap ton of stuff, and you would be amazed what they have. So, want to take time to thank Jake and Ryan over at Patriot Patch Company for their sponsorship. And this is the current patch of the month for June. I don't want to look at my ugly face. Focus on the patch. There we go. So as you can see, it's a RC truck with a bunch of fireworks. Got a big old rocket underneath it, Roman candle launcher attached to the roof of the cab. You got some bottle rockets and a Saturn missile battery in the back. So somebody's off to have some fun. So, but swing over there. Check out Patriot Patch Company. That's patriotpatch.co. Primary Arms is primaryarms.com. make sure you say hi. Let them know that we sent you. For Primary Arms, if you're buying a Primary Arms optic, use the code FRN for the coupon code, and you get a free mount. So, anybody got any shout outs?
All right, threw one out there for Kevin Wagner.
Okay. So,
Oh,
All
don't
right.
forget to click the like button, guys. I forgot mine.
All right, gang. On that note, keep your breath shiny.
Jump on the Millsarp short bus.
Teach them to shoot and reload when they're young.
Introduce the ladies how to reload, and then let us pinch off your stash here and there.
Grandpa told me that don't listen to Mama. Violence does solve problems.
2A all the way. Support the Second Amendment, guys. It's what keeps us safe and sound. That's the only thing keeping us from being totalitarian state.
And remember, if you're struggling, 1-800-273-8255. Give them a call. They've got help for you. They're trained professionals. They'll get you headed in the right direction. Mental health is a serious issue. Take it seriously. It's not a sign of weakness. Thanks, folks. And have a good night.
Night.
Good night.
Bye, y'all.